All right. Good morning, Ms. Franks. Ma'am, you're charged with failure to identify oneself as a fugitive from justice. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. Probable cause has already been done on your case. Your case is nearly 300 days old, and it's time to do something with this case. Do you have a lawyer today?
Yes.
Who is it?
A fugitive from justice charge is no small matter. It basically means the court believes you were actively avoiding arrest or prosecution. Facing up to a year in jail and a $4,000 fine, Ms. Franks is already starting this hearing with serious stakes. What would you do if you were in her shoes? Lawyer up immediately, or try to explain yourself?
She has not signed in on this case. Is she going to be here today?
She's supposed to, Your Honor.
Okay, so just go ahead, take a seat for me. We'll wait to see if she says that, ma'am. Okay? All right, do not leave.
No, it's not it.
It's without me redirecting, right?
Yes, I told him to put it up there,
Okay.
and these are the enhancements, they said to abandon those two that are to the bottom. Just the, and it was 180 days. Probably different.
So,
Judge?
but he had an open container of alcohol in the car too, though?
Yes, the surveillance shows that he hadn't been driving from 8:15 to 11 p.m. and the car was also smoking at the time they.
Tell me what happened in this case, because I don't know anything about it.
I mean, if defense.
No, but I want,
Okay.
please, read to me the dims.
Okay, Judge. My computer's been slow today, so my apologies.
It's okay. I want to know that I'm making the right decision. Mr. Vanderslice, I take public safety extremely serious. I don't care who you are. I don't care what color you are. I don't care if you're a small farm animal. My only concern is public safety, and if you leave a wake of death, that's just not a good thing, and now you've got a DWI. They're saying that there's a prior DWI. You've got alcohol in the car as well. I mean, when do we say when? Now, I don't know specifically what happened in your car. I'm just looking at the allegation here.
Prior DWI, if the judgment on DIMS or NCIC is incorrect.
Well, one of them was reduced to a reckless judge and the other one in Dallas was dismissed because he was convicted of murder.
So it's a third DWI.
It was, yeah, the other one was unrelated.
Go ahead.
On June 7th, 2024, officers were dispatched to the Circle K parking lot where they were advised of a white GMC Sierra. The officer observed the car partially in a stall and the defendant was the driver and lone occupant passed out behind the wheel. The car was running and the defendant had his foot on the accelerator. The vehicle was in park. The officers woke the driver, who was extremely slow and lethargic, had slurred speech, watery eyes, a strong odor of alcoholic beverage, an unsteady gait, and had to be guided back to the patrol vehicle. 2 bottles of Crown Royal Apple Whiskey were located in the car. One was empty and one had a little bit left. The defendant said, "I'm not going to do anything to incriminate myself" when asked to do SFSTs. The DICs were read and a search warrant was executed and blood was drawn.
There should be a additional part to the probable cause that talks about the surveillance now.
I'm going to give you opportunity to say your piece, but so initially with this case, you went up and they had offered 270 days in jail.
365.
It was 365. And the reason is because you have a murder case. There was a prior murder case. Did you do time in TDC because of it?
Yes, sir, I did. I did 6.5 years on a 10 and they let me out for good behavior.
Okay, no, that's, and then not only that, but we have 2 prior DWIs as well. One was reduced, one was dismissed pursuant to the plea bargain agreement. So
2010, I think. 27 was the date of the offense, murder, the case that he had. And then that had nothing to do with the DWI.
The DWI was in 2009.
I sent a letter to everybody explaining, our agreement from before, which was a 2-year probation based on having looked at all this stuff. And then they re-looked at it.
Now here's where things take a twist. The defense claims the car wasn't even moving while he was drinking. But surveillance video cuts both ways. Sure, it shows he was parked, but it also shows exactly when he arrived. And if prosecutors can prove he was drinking before pulling in, that could crush his defense. What do you think? Does parked mean innocent, or is this still DWI territory?
And they said that they would be fine with the TRAS recommendations, but the reasons why I think they tripped it up is it looks like the murder and the DWI were at the same time roughly, but not part of the same transaction. So the DWIs had nothing to do with anybody dying. That was a sort of a bad.
Sure. I
self-defense
mean,
case.
so while he's on bond for DWI, picks up a murder case, or is it vice versa?
Murder, he picked up a DWI case, I think is the, but it was at his aunt's funeral. And the problem is because he's been convicted of murder, the girlfriend wouldn't let him stay at the house, and he had a hotel. His wallet got stolen, so he was sleeping in the parking lot. And that's when he drank, when he went to sleep. If you look at the offense report, it does fill in a supplement after Mike and I talked. The officers went and looked at the surveillance. The surveillance, his car is not functional, and at night the lights don't work. So he had to park before it got dark. He couldn't stay at the hotel. He parks in a parking space at the convenience store, drinks, falls asleep, gets up to go to the restroom at like 10:30, which is 2 or 3 hours later. So the car doesn't move while he's drinking his Apple Crown. The car doesn't
Do
move at
you
all.
have that on video so that we can
That's on
verify
video
that?
surveillance.
Have you seen that?
I believe he looked at it with Kelsey. Is that what you
I've
said?
looked at it and it's in their stuff, but it's also in the police report. The officers looked at it and they put it in the DIMS as a supplement.
You take a look.
At least the DIMS I read. So, and it says from 8:15 to about 11:03 when they came there that he did not drive his car. And that's when he says he sat in the parking lot and drank the liquor that he bought at the liquor store before 9 o'clock, obviously. And
So you're telling me that he pulls up to a liquor store,
he pulls up to a convenience store.
convenience store,
Correct. And
buys the whiskey
buys some whiskey
at
because
Circle K?
no, it's a different store. So he pulls up the liquor store before 9 o'clock. Then he pulls up to the Circle K at 8:15, I believe, or
Sure.
8:30.
So how do we know he's not drinking?
So Judge, the supplement says that officer also swore the video at the Circle K shows the defendant entering the parking lot of the store in his motor vehicle at 8:20 PM on June 6, 2024, and officers arrived on scene at around 10:50 PM on the same day. So they see him driving into the parking lot.
How do we know he's not drinking before he pulls into the parking lot?
Well, that's why I'm pleading. But, that's part of the reason. Obviously, his car doesn't move for the time he's in the parking lot. But he told me he bought the drinks before when he found out he could no longer be in the hotel. And that is because his lights didn't work due to an accident that his car had. He had to shut it off before it got dark. So he parked, he had nowhere else to go.
So there's no accident in this case?
There's no
injury.
accident in this
Judge.
case, no. He had nowhere to go because of the murder conviction. He can't stay with his girlfriend when she has her kids.
Are you still on parole now?
No, sir.
Yeah, it was a 5-year offer from the state. It had to do with a roommate and a fight, ironically, over he was trying to prevent the roommate from driving intoxicated. But it not really a roommate, but it was a guy who was.
So do we really have to abandon the first paragraph, right? Because he said that in the Panola County, that's not a DWI conviction,
Yes,
correct?
Judge, that's
Yeah,
correct.
Okay, so let's abandon the first paragraph. The second paragraph, are you wanting to abandon as well? That would make it a mandatory 5-day minimum if we don't abandon.
Yes, Judge, and because we agreed, we came to you without an agreed rec, and we said that we would do what TRAS
If you
recommended.
Be true to this first paragraph here, that would make it a 30-day minimum.
Which paragraph? Yeah.
The
No,
murder,
I think the intent was to abandon that one.
Yes, Judge, so
abandon all three.
Not the last one as well?
Yes.
That would make it a mandatory 30-day minimum.
Yes, Judge. I don't.
All right, Mr. Vanderslice, what you're doing now is you're entering into an agreement with me, and you want me to punish you as far as pleading guilty to this DWI conviction. You need to understand that this is a lifetime decision that you're making today, that once you plead guilty, there's no turning away. You give up so many valuable rights. You give up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers, the right to be arraigned, charged, read in open court. If you're not a citizen, or, you can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization, you give up the right to appeal. Once you plead guilty, you can't take it away. You have not been able to come up to an agreement with the state. The only other option is to either set up for trial or come to me if they waive that, the ability to go to trial and to come to me for punishment. And they have agreed to do so. Do you want to come to me for punishment?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. How do you plead to the offense of driving while intoxicated? Guilty or not guilty?
Well, I'm pleading guilty, sir.
Okay. I'm going to find you guilty. The idea is that, how old are you? You're 52.
Sir.
When does it stop? At what point do you learn? At what point do you say, I can't, I got to stop? How much money has it cost you over the years? How much time has it cost you over the years? I can't.
And I totally agree with you. And I have stopped, and I am done, and I am stable in all directions at this time, and plan on staying that way and not disrespecting your county at all anymore. And you never see me again in this courtroom.
Everyone says that.
No,
The thing is that words mean nothing today, man. I get it that maybe in 1890 business was done on a handshake, but handshakes don't mean squat now, because people now, they don't think of consequence. They act without thinking, if I do this, what's going to happen? If I say this, what's going to happen? They just act. They shoot first, ask questions later. And in life, you got to know when to say when. Shit is always going to happen in your life. You're always going to step in shit, right? But the idea is that you scrape it off your boot and you walk on, because it's going to constantly happen in your life. Something is always going to trip you up, whether someone dies, whether you lose your job, whether your wife cheats on you. It's always going to happen. But the idea is to figure out how to cope, how to deal with it, how to deal with the anger when it comes to you, because you're going to get angry. This agreement that you're getting with us today, you're pleading guilty to 180 days in jail. I'm going to put you on probation for 2 years, so I've got you next to me for the next 2 years.
yes, sir.
And what we want to see is, how do you deal with the anger? How do you cope with the loss? Because it's invariably going to happen, whether you lose your pop, your mom, your girlfriend, someone cheats on you. That's how we need to cope with it. I got to imagine prison must have been one of the worst experiences ever, was it not?
Sir, I was raped in prison.
And yet that now we have more, it sucks. Prison's not a great thing. It's supposed to be bad. It's supposed to teach you not to come back.
I'll never be back again.
I bet you said that when you pled to the murder case. How much do you want to bet you said that on the murder case? I'm trying to make a point.
Sir, I
The
understand.
point I'm making is, how do we reach you so that when you get angry again, when you get hurt again, you don't reach for a bottle, you don't reach for some kind of hardcore drug, get into a car and kill someone. All I'm asking you to do is don't take another life.
I will have the proper coping skills for any type of anger that comes in my direction or any.
And here's the human side of the story. Quitting drinking has already improved his mental health, and he's actively seeking treatment. Judges don't just look at past crimes, they weigh whether the person standing before them is making real changes. This is the kind of turn that can sway sentencing, but will it be enough to erase the shadow of a murder conviction and multiple DWIs?
Would say he's done a few things while being out on bond to show that his words are backed up with actions.
What has he done?
He hasn't tested positive. He's blown in the machine. He's
That's good.
sort of
That's great.
put his life together. He's actually off. His doctor has changed his medication because of the quitting drinking has helped him with some mental problems. He's noticed that he's sought out help. I think he's working on an IOP, and he's done a lot while on bond, but mostly just stopping and seeing what his life turned into after he stopped, and he sort of likes it. And yeah.
That's all we ask. You know, I every single person that comes up here, $40 to $50, one button. Wherever you want to go, Uber will take you.
Right.
You know, I routinely take, when I go out with my wife, because I like to drink,
Yes, sir.
I take an Uber everywhere. So I know I don't end up on the other side of this bar as well. As part of the agreement between you and I, you will be doing a repeat offender DWI education class, Thinking for a Change, 4 victim impact panels. No drugs, no alcohol, substance abuse treatment. There is a no breath test refusal. So if you are pulled over in a car and an officer asks you to submit to a breath test, you must do it.
Yes, sir. I have a lifesaver in my unit.
But if you get pulled over and an officer asks you, that's what I'm trying to say, you have to submit to it. You must maintain a guardian interlock, no drugs, no alcohol, a $150 one-time donation to Mothers Against Drunk Driving, intensive outpatient treatment followed by supportive outpatient treatment.
Sure.
Thank you for being so forthcoming. Not everybody is, and I truly appreciate it. And all we want to do is help as much as possible. And that's it's what we like to do. We want to see you succeed, believe it or not. We want you to, walk out of here leaving better than you came. That's the idea. So that in the future, when you're confronted with these issues, you think before acting. That's all we're asking.
Sure.
All right. Do you have anything else that you guys wanted to add?
No, Judge.
Okay. Anything else?
License suspension or?
Say it again?
License suspension or?
No, because it's a true first,
True
right?
first, right.
It's a true first because the first one, so I'm not going to suspend the license now. I want you to understand though, is that if I find that you drink,
Yes, sir.
I'm going to put you in a rehab facility. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. I don't care if you're kicking and screaming and you got George coming up here just bitching and hollering. I don't care. If you consume, and I don't care where it's coming from, I'm going to put you in a rehab facility. If you violate this agreement, I will issue a warrant for your arrest. I'm going to put you in jail. I'm going to deem you a public danger, and I'm going to make your bond so high, you're going to go nuts. And then into a rehab facility, which is at a minimum 9 months if you respond well to treatment. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Vanderslice, we wish you the best of luck. I'll find you guilty. I'm going to follow the agreement, send you to it. Yeah. What do you do for a living, Mr. Vanderslice?
I'm an auto broker, sir. I help people, families that are in transportation in Houston gain access to vehicles.
And how much money do you make a month? Okay. The reason I'm asking is because of the DPS fines and fees and surcharges.
Yeah, he's basically indigent. I mean, part of the problem was he was living in his car. So it wasn't a hotel room where he can just stay somewhere. He does have somewhere to stay most of the time now.
Jen, the state, I mean, obviously it's up to you, Judge, but the state would be willing to forego the $150 donation to MAD.
No. That's part of the agreement that's going to stay,
Okay.
right? But, let me do this. Have him fill out an indigency affidavit because I want to know.
Sure.
Be honest. You're going to fill out something, you're going to swear to it. So I want you to be honest, how much money you make. You know, if you don't qualify, then you're going to have to pay this fine, but it's spread over 2 years. So you're going to end up paying like $50 a month. So it's not expensive, but I want you to be honest on this affidavit. All right. Okay. Come on.